When people commit sin, what is the cause of it, and why do they do that, and why do I do it? Why do we do it? We all commit sins. There's a difference between intentional sins and unintentional. Okay, forget the unintentional, which is rare. But let's talk about the intentional sin. How do one sin? Okay, Reformed theology has the depravity of human beings' whole souls. Nothing good left in our sight. But surprisingly, they also say that in the Neo-Calvinism, which is very big on this, that is what we call the common grace. There's still a lot of good, basically, inside us, and the good things inside us without Christ. Without Christ. That's why they make beautiful literature, they make beautiful arts. That's why people without Christ can achieve Nobel Prize, can do outstanding things, kind, compassionate, and all this. And yet it's human depravity. So how do you reconcile these two? Human depravity is total depravity, means nothing good left. We're not capable of doing anything good. So this is a topic for another day. That sometimes, somehow, I believe human depravity to a certain level, but not total. Okay, the human is in the non-Christian vocabulary is called conscience. Our conscience tells us we need to love. We love our kids. We protect our kids, especially when they're young. You know, we love our wife, our husband. This conscience. Conscience tells us all these things. Marriage between a man and a woman. Conscience. But the basic cause of sin is idolatry and rebellion. Idolatry and autonomy. The basic concept of sin is autonomy and rebellion. Then you move into idolatry. I would say that sometimes it's the idolatry that seduces us going into the autonomy mode. Okay, let's just, my favorite example is the direct temptation of Eve, okay? Eve was under the very, very severe temptation and seduction by the devil, the ancient serpent. And she was completely blown over by the seduction of idolatry. That idolatry makes her to be possible, to be so good, to be like God. Your eyes will be open, and you will be like God. See, that is autonomy. That means I will do what I like, what I want to. That is rebellion. That's idolatry. Three things go hand in hand. What is idolatry? Because idolatry means you push God away and do your own things, and if something else becomes God in your life, in this case, very often it's you yourself, because you want to be like God. You want liberation. You want autonomy, and in the pursuit of that, you rebel. I would say rebellion is the last chain of action, but idolatry and autonomy. I would say the first thing is autonomy, second thing is idolatry, final thing is rebellion. That defines the doctrine of the fall, and that impacts our culture making, so that we know, our cultural fall comes from idolatry. Romans 1 talks about God gives them over. That's even worse now, because they refuse to acknowledge God. An extended period of time, God actually gives them over to sensuality and the lust and all this. The consequence of which is unbearable. It's definitely, heartbreaking. So that is the doctrine of the fall.